Vinaka Primanavya. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Manu Matavai Tupou Rosen, who is well known to many of us and many of you. Dr. Tupou Rosen is the Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor and Vice President, Regional Campuses and Global Engagement at the University of the South Pacific. Madam, thank you.
Malo Larry. Tapu pia moe a whio e otua, ho tau lotolotonga. Tapu pia moe tama piliniska launi o tonga. Tupou toa ulka lala. Tapu pia moe eikpale mia o Fiji, Honourable Sitiveni Rabuka. Tapu pia mo eikpale mia o Niue, Honourable Dalton Tangelangi. Tapu pia mo Baron Wanga, Secretariat o Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat, mo ho eik minister, kai umaa ai taki o Pacific Security College, Professor Dave Peebles, mo kau whakaawhiko toa, we thank our Heavenly Father for His continued blessings and for bringing us all safely together. Your Royal Highness Crown Prince Tupotoa Ulgalala of Tonga, Prime Minister of the Great Republic of Fiji, Honourable Sitiveni Rabuka, Prime Minister of Great Niue, Honourable Dalton Tangelangi. Honourable Ministers, Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat, His Excellency Baron Wanga and Your Excellencies. Director of the Pacific Security College, Professor Dave Peebles, and all regional and national leaders and distinguished participants, friends of the Blue Pacific. Warm greetings and welcome to the Pacific Regional and National Security Conference, the Suva Dialogue, as stated by the Honourable Prime Minister Rabuka at the first conference last year. It is wonderful to see everyone here from across our great Blue Pacific. It is testament to the commitment and solidarity of our people to come together in the largest security talanoa in our region, to work together, grounded in our faith, culture, respect, and Pacific way. It is a great honor to facilitate our opening ceremony. To start us on our voyage, we have three of the leaders of the Blue Pacific to share their wisdom with us. May I first introduce the Prime Minister of Niue, the Honourable Dalton Tangelangi, who will lead us in prayer. Prime Minister Tangelangi has had a distinguished career in national politics and in sport. On sport, the Honourable Prime Minister has represented Niue in the 2014, 2018 and 2022 Commonwealth Games, competing in bowling. In politics, he was first elected in 2008 and held important portfolios before becoming Prime Minister. As Minister for the Environment, he called on rich nations to show greater ambition on climate change. Prime Minister Tangelangi also served as the Chancellor of our University of the South Pacific between 2021 and 2022. Please welcome the Prime Minister of Niue, the Honourable Dalton Tangelangi.
Kalafalahiatu, and a great warm Pacific greetings to you all. As the Pacific family and how we do things, we always acknowledge the Lord and the Savior Jesus Christ. So let's bow our heads in prayer in the way, and we'll finish it with the Lord's Prayer. Ha mautoro matua nai ha ha he langi. Riliwa mautoro ha hanga tu ki mua he hawa fufanga ke he pongi pongi fo nei. Wai hawa mana he whakalofa kua maari mai noa ni ke ha mautoro a tau mamowi. Talofi whanua mautoro ke he laro langilahi. Talofi mai a mautoro ke he taha he hau. Atu whungasia fulufuloara he atu Pasifika. Mai a mautoro e atua ha koe. Kau whakarataha ke he meana ne kua manako a mautoro ke tātā naki mo e pui pui ke lātai mo e tau momui. He tau tangata te ki taha ne no nofua i ki loto he atu Pasifika. O le atu ke haua whakamuni nanga i atua. Umnui na mai ka ia e takitaki he mutu nei mo e tau tangata ne kua tāke le ai. Mautoro ne tolotolofi mai he tau motu ke he ke. Mautoro e tau pulotu mo e tau loto matala kua whangalatahai. Taha e haua whakalofa i atua. Whakamuni na mai he mautoro atau seanga nei. Oh Lord, as we come before you this morning, we thank you for your guidance, for bringing us all together here this morning. Bless the great leader of Fiji and its people. Everyone that is here from the region. So foreign members, as we gathered here for the importance of what it's need to protect our people. So, oh Lord, be with us. As we all say, as we pray together in your prayer. Please join me. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I thank you. I hope that goes past the cloud. And if it's not, well, we're all together in it. It's great to hear you, and it's great to see your smiles. I think that this conference has got to be an enjoyable and it's got to be a happy one. Let's do it in the Pacific way. So often that we go to conferences that we are too serious about things. But we got to do it the Pacific way. And that's how things get done. I better get on with business. My friend, senior leader of the Forum family member, Prime Minister of Fiji, the Honourable Sitiveni, Rabuka, the government ministers and fellow Forum members, Pacific Islands Forum Secretary General, Baron Wanga, ambassadors and high commissioners, senior regional and national officials, academics and civil society representatives. Friends, good morning and welcome to the Pacific Regional and National Security Conference. This conference gives us all a valuable opportunity to reflect on what we can do at home and what we can do together as a united Blue Pacific to promote and protect our shared security. I look forward to sharing Niue's journey and to learning from yours. It has been a very busy and meaningful year for us in Niue. In May this year, we launched our national security strategy, a 5-year strategy from this year until 2029. A milestone shaped by the voices of our people and guided by the values of resilience, preparedness, and shared responsibility. You'll find a copy of our strategy in your conference packs. Your homework for tonight. We also had the honor of serving as chair of the Pacific Islands Forum's Committee of Security Officials, contributing to regional discussions on the ocean of peace, the future of the Bow Declaration, and how we can all realize the vision of the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent. Let me begin this important conference by asking, what does security mean to you? What does security mean to you? Security is one of the most complex areas of government policies because it involves so many elements. Our choices and actions in this space reflect what we valued most, both to ourselves and to the world. For Niue, true security means preserving the treasures each Pacific citizen is born into, and that is our people, our land, our values, our culture, our spirituality, our resources, and our oceans. If we can protect these, we believe we will have done right by our children and our grandchildren. We come here not only to share, but to learn from your wisdom, your experiences, and your approaches. How do you define the things you value? How do you protect them? And how can we work together to safeguard what we love as the Pacific family? How do we turn our dreams for the next generation into reality? Let this conference be more than a conversation. Let it be a commitment to act, to implement, and to lead. Together, let us build a Pacific that is secure, sovereign, and united. Rawelai mahaki, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Honourable Prime Minister Tangilangi, and congratulations on Niue's national security strategy. We really appreciate the words of wisdom and for setting the scene for this important Talanoa with that important question on what does security mean to us. and highlighting that we do this for our people. Malo pito, vinaka vakalevu. May I next introduce the Prime Minister of Fiji, the Honorable Sitiveni Rabuka. If you can please join me in welcoming Honorable Sitiveni Rabuka.
Good morning. Thank the choir for the hymn they sang this morning. And thank the Prime Minister of Niue for the prayers. Your Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Tonga, George Putoa Ulkalala, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Minister responsible for His Majesty's Armed Forces. Welcome. Honorable Ministers from across our blue Pacific, the great blue Pacific Ocean. Welcome to our Pacific Island Forum Secretary General, SG Wanga, fellow members of the Pacific Island Forum, represented here by heads of missions and senior officials, heads of crop agencies and representatives of our regional security organizations, sisters and brothers from the Pacific security community, academics, and civil society representatives. I'm still trying to understand academics. A different breed of men and women. Very difficult to understand them, but we do as they advise. Nisa Bulwenaka. First of all, I apologize for not wearing our Kalavata or Pulita shirt this morning as Minister for Defense and Veterans Affairs Fiji. We have to go straight to Parliament or we will incur the wrath of the Speaker, who has had to change our start time this morning from the normal 9:30 to 10:30. Very warm welcome back to everyone from the Pacific security community and beyond who are gathered here in Suva for the second Pacific Regional and National Security Conference. A peaceful and prosperous Pacific depends on all of us cooperating and learning from one another. This is why I'm so pleased to have gathered with you in a spirit of friendship and shared purpose to focus this year on the Ocean of Peace concept and to take it further in this discussion. Some of you may remember that I proposed this Ocean of Peace or Zone of Peace at the United Nations General Assembly meeting in 2023. It was after that some of us gathered together with the Prime Minister of Israel. And we spoke about our region as a region of peace. At the end of that, I told him, Prime Minister, your older brother was my hero. But I didn't tell him the next thing I did. When I went back to the permanent representative's office for Fiji at the UN, I called Fiji and told my wife not to get on the Pilgrim's charter flight to go to Israel in October of that year. She asked me why. I said, something will happen on the 7th of October. So do not come. I was back in Fiji on the 7th of October when we had our Republic Day parade in the morning. And in the evening at 5 o'clock, which was 6 o'clock in the morning of Saturday, the 7th of October, war broke out in Gaza. It is good for us to remember history and to understand the significance of various dates. When we talk about security, let us also remember history. When the Prime Minister of Israel rang me in February this year, he asked, how did you know? And I said, Prime Minister, you should have known. It was the 50th anniversary of the breakout of the Yom Kippur War in 1973. You should have been alerted. I'm so pleased that you have come to talk about security. The timing is critical. I must contest that for now, our region's outlook is more uncertain than at any other time since Fiji became independent in 1970. I believe on Wednesday you will conduct a future series, a future exercise to consider how we can navigate the decade that's ahead of us, so that the Pacific is an ocean of peace in 2050. We will talk more about this as we gather in Honiara later, and hopefully when we go back to the United Nations General Assembly later on, we will all be on the same page. What is the end state that we would like to see by 2050? What are the urgent actions we need to take now to realize that future? How can we best prepare for the voyage ahead of us? What are the conditions that we must face together? These are the great questions before us as leaders of the Pacific of today. We are to ensure the Pacific is peaceful and prosperous by the year 2050. We are responsible. We are responsible today for the world that our children and grandchildren will inherit. The Pacific Ocean and Fiji's place in it. But first, let's go back to over 5 centuries ago, on the 15th of November, 1520. Long after the first Pacific Islanders had reached this ocean, Ferdinand Magellan sailed into the Mar del Sur and renamed it Mar Pacifico, the Pacific Ocean, because of its calm waters. Those waters have sustained and linked generations of Pacific people. However, the waters that we know of the Pacific are not always calm. The ocean has been a threat, has been a theater for external wars. It has been treated as a training ground or testing ground for some of the most dangerous weapons ever discovered. It is swollen because of climate change, and its rich resources are coveted by many. This is the current reality, of the Blue Pacific. Fiji's foreign policy white paper in 2024 assessed that Fiji's most significant security threat lies in the prospect of a wider region which is riven by division, insecurity, and instability. We decided the most significant contribution Fiji can make to a state of strategic equilibrium, to a stable balance in the broader Indo-Pacific, is to focus on the challenge of peace and security in our own Pacific neighborhood. I feel a particular responsibility as the Prime Minister of Fiji. First, of course, for the sovereignty, security, and prosperity of Fiji, but also for the contribution we can make to the region. We take that regional role very seriously. So I'm also greatly concerned about the polycrises before the Blue Pacific, which I talked about at last year's conference. The global rule-based international order is eroding. There is growing economic uncertainty throughout the world, and that is felt keenly in our geographically dispersed Pacific states. The impact of climate change, rising sea levels, increasingly severe extreme weather events, the changing ecosystems, they threaten our ways of life and our very existence in the Pacific. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing undermine our economic security and harms our fragile Pacific environment. And unfortunately, transnational crimes now crisscross our Pacific waters. The surge in methamphetamine trafficking and the use strains law enforcement and is fueling a growing public health crisis. Some of you have noticed that there is an allocation for an increased number of policemen and women in our forces announced in our budget. That is an indication of our concern. We also face new challenges. For example, Fiji, as a financial and administrative hub of the region, is increasingly becoming a target for cybercrime. We must be awake to the rapid acceleration of digital technologies and evolving threats. And now to the ocean of peace. I've always believed in a Pacific approach to security and a Pacific approach to stability and a Pacific approach to prosperity. We are stronger when we face our challenges together. So at the Pacific Islands Forum in Rarotonga in 2023, I proposed that regional leaders agree on a set of principles that embed peace as the cornerstone of our individual and collective policies. That is the Ocean of Peace concept. The Ocean of Peace is a shared aspiration. We all share in it. We all love it. We all want it. And it's rooted in our traditions and is guided by a collective commitment to regional cooperation and stability. It reaffirms our commitment to ensuring that our people can lead free, healthy, and productive lives. The Ocean of Peace is a significant and a very prominent signal that we seek to send out to the region and from the region, and upon which our strategic competition is managed, where stability is the touchstone of regional relationships and where coercion is eschewed. The Ocean of Peace reflects my belief that a united region is a strong region. That when we speak with one voice, our power is magnified. The Ocean of Peace also calls for us to remain committed to development, because lasting peace across our countries requires both national security and national development. Peace is not something achieved through our police or security forces alone. It also requires families and communities, societies and nations that are built on the foundations of harmony, stability, satisfaction with life and freedom from want and fear. To achieve these Ocean of Peace principles, the Ocean of Peace concept draws on the foundational tenet of Pacific regionalism. It is our opportunity to weave the threads of our Pacific past with our vision for our Pacific future. While much work is ongoing, Fiji promotes the Pacific as the Ocean of Peace based on the following 12 principles. 1, a shared commitment to the peaceful resolution of disputes based on the Pacific Way. 2, respect for international law and norms. And we recall the United Nations General Assembly Declaration on the Rights of People to Peace that was adopted on the 12th of November 1984. 3, rejection of coercion as a means to achieve security, economic, or political advantage. 4, the freedom to determine our own security and strategic policies. 5, upholding freedom and navigation and overflight. 6, a commitment to the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. 7, protection of maritime environment. 8, a recognition that common challenges require common solutions. 9, respect for human rights. 10, support for regional institutions. 11, calling on external actors to champion rules of responsible, peaceful, and deconflicting behavior. And 12, bringing our people together. These principles, honorable ministers, honorable leaders, ladies and gentlemen, are based on what we all know as the Pacific Way. The Pacific Way is about these principles as a deed. They also offer an opportunity for us to set out how we expect those from outside the region to respect our approaches and participate with us. This means respect for the Pacific Way, respect for norms and the law, no coercion, protecting the environment, respect for and embrace the Pacific regionalism, And I also believe through the Ocean of Peace, there are opportunities to share the Pacific Way successes with the rest of the world. For example, Fiji pioneered the Talanoa dialogue as a new approach to climate negotiations, with the Pacific concept of Talanoa, or storytelling, supporting consensus building and decision making. It was in 1970 that the Fiji's first Prime Minister, Ratu Samara, introduced the Pacific Way at the United Nations General Assembly, setting out Fiji's peaceful transition to independence. So too can the Ocean of Peace offer a platform to expand concepts central to the Pacific Way with a global audience. As we speak, officials across the Pacific are working to prepare the Ocean of Peace Declaration for when Prime Minister Tuilangi and I meet with our fellow leaders at the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Conference in Solomon Islands in September. I know Minister Chanel and the Prime Minister Manele will host us very well in the Happy Isles. Now from principles to implementation. Esteemed participants, I address you that this is my request for you for this conference. Realizing the Ocean of Peace isn't just a job for our leaders. It is a shared endeavor involving all of us. We must work together to safeguard our Blue Pacific, our Ocean of Peace, for this generation and those to come. My hope that all together, as a Pacific family, we can agree in Honiara on the principles for the Ocean of Peace Declaration, but then work forward on all of us for its implementation. Some of the issues you might want to discuss at this conference include how can the good officers' role of the Forum Secretary General be strengthened to support peace, particularly if there is an issue that threatens the Pacific as an ocean of peace. How should the Forum member countries consult if they are worried about an issue? What does the Ocean of Peace mean for our regional architecture and for the review of the Bold Declaration Action Plan? How can our law enforcement agencies and defense forces and regional agencies and secretariats contribute to the Ocean of Peace and its discussions? How can the next generation of national security agreements reflect the Ocean of Peace? What can we all do in our countries and in our communities to promote peace? We look forward to your advice. A great voyage ahead. Esteemed delegates, Asia as the Shangri-La dialogue, but the Pacific as the Pacific region and national security conference. This is where we will build our mighty Ndrua or Waka for this great journey ahead. The Pacific security community is always welcome here in Fiji. We will be very pleased to have you back in Suva for your next important discussions next year. You will be made to feel very welcome, as we have always endeavored to do whenever you set foot on our shores. My best wishes to each and every one of you for a very successful conference Enjoy the warm hospitality of Fiji, maybe a little wet. May God bless you all. God bless Fiji. God bless the Pacific. Now whatever. Look.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka. We respectfully acknowledge your long-standing and distinguished career in politics, military service and sport. It is well known across our Pacific home. Honourable Prime Minister, we recognise that you've also competed at the Commonwealth Games in shot put, the hammer throw, discus and the decathlon. Distinguished participants, our honourable leaders have set a high bar for all of us. Thank you for being a major thought leader on Pacific security issues, Honourable Prime Minister, for defining the polycrisis before us and proposing an important way forward through your landmark initiative, the Ocean of Peace. Thank you also for your important questions to guide our Talanoa, including how we best prepare together for the voyage ahead to the Ocean of Peace, grounded in our Pacific way, to ensure, as you've stated, sir, that the Pacific is peaceful and prosperous by 2050. Minaka Vakalevu, Honourable Prime Minister. May I next introduce the Pacific Islands Forum Secretary General, His Excellency Baron Wanga. Could you please join us in welcoming Secretary General? Thank you.
Thank you, MC. The Prime Minister of Fiji, the Honourable Sitiveni Rabuka, the Prime Minister of Niue, the Honourable Dalton Tangalangi, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Tonga, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tupotoa Ulakalala, Honourable Ministers and Heads of Delegations, Excellencies, Senior Officials, colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my great honour to welcome you all to the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat for the Pacific Regional and National Security Conference. I warmly acknowledge our distinguished leaders, national and regional security heads, and our many stakeholders from government, law enforcement, regional agencies, and community-based organizations. Your presence and ongoing leadership underscores the shared responsibilities we all carry in ensuring the security of our Blue Pacific continent. This conference brings together a broad and essential cross-section of actors from across the Pacific and beyond. All of you, policymakers, practitioners, advisors, analysts, and advocates play a critical role in building the foundations of peace and security in our region. For building a safer Pacific is not the work of one sector or institution. It requires all of us working in step to shape our stronger, more inclusive regional security ecosystem that reflects the principles, the priorities of our people, and the vision of our leaders. Today, we gather to reaffirm our collective commitment to the peace, security, and prosperity of our Blue Pacific continent. In May this year, I attended the 22nd Asian Security Summit also known as the Shangri-La Dialogue. The discussion were clear and sobering. Conflicts in the Middle East, the war in Eastern Europe, and rising tensions between major powers and reshaping global security landscape. These developments are not distant from us. They are already being felt in the Pacific through economic impacts, rising risks, and changing perceptions. What stood out to me was a strong and repeated message that multilateral engagement is required, is essential, rather. Leaders and experts call for collaborative and preventative approaches, for better crisis management and cooperative security frameworks. These are not new ideas for us. They reflect the principles we've long upheld in the Pacific. But today's global context gives these principles new urgencies. We must deepen our own security cooperation. Progressing a flexible, inclusive, and responsive regional security mechanism is crucial. We must also ensure that our regional security architecture delivers real prevention-focused action that protects lives, upholds peace, and strengthens trust among our communities. As we continue to build our regional security capabilities, we must also recognize the wider global pressures that are affecting us. Economic shocks, climate change, and unequal development are interconnected pressures that deepen vulnerabilities across the Pacific. To meet these challenges, we need a unified and holistic approach, one that builds resilience and protects our shared future. This is why this conference matters. The Pacific Regional and National Security Conference is a key platform that brings together leaders, policymakers, and security professionals from across the Pacific, forum memberships, and partners. It provides a valuable opportunity to share insights, align strategies, and strengthen our collective resolve to respond to regional security issues. This conference fosters trust and supports coordination. It helps us build security solutions that are coherent, inclusive, and grounded in the Pacific way. It is through gathering like this we lay the foundation for a resilient and secure Blue Pacific. As we embark on our discussions, it is timely to reflect on our progress in implementing the Boyd Declaration. The Boyd Declaration Action Plan gives practical effect to the 2018 Boyd Declaration on Regional Security. It reinforces our expanded concept of security, one that includes human security, humanitarian assistance, and environmental security. As we review the implementation, we can see real progress in regional cooperation and national preparedness. We acknowledge the efforts to strengthen national security approaches and foster security domestic environment. These national efforts are the foundation for collective security across the Pacific, Blue Pacific. The action plan has also shown the valuable innovation and adaptability. We must continue to evolve, responding to new challenges with resilience, confidence, and foresight. Today, we acknowledge the progress on the Blue Pacific Ocean of Peace Declaration. Inspired by the Honourable Prime Minister of Fiji and directed by our leaders at the 52nd meeting in Rarotonga, this initiative aims to solidify our region as an ocean of peace, guided by trust, dialogue, and shared responsibilities. As the Prime Minister of Fiji has outlined, the Ocean of Peace Declaration offers us a principled foundation anchored in sovereignty, resilience, inclusion, and regional solidarity. It is more than a statement, it is a pledge to lead with peace, to embed it across our institutions, invest in conflict prevention, and protect our people and our environment. Our region's commitment to peace is not new. The Rarotonga treatment remains a powerful symbol of our leadership and unity. It reflects the Pacific's moral clarity in pursuing disarmament and our shared stand against nuclear threats. This commitment continues to guide our regional security approach and is an enduring example of the Pacific speaking with one voice on global issues. Through the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat, we stand ready to support our members to bring the vision of an ocean of peace to life. As we move forward, let us embrace our shared responsibility to foster and sustain peace and stability. Let us keep building a robust and transparent regional security architecture that meets the need of our members, empowers our people, and reflects Pacific-led decision-making. In closing, I acknowledge the Pacific Security College for organizing this important meeting, and I urge us all to think boldly and act collaboratively as we map out our steps towards a secure and prosperous future for the Pacific. Let us build on the foundation of the Boy Declaration Action Plan and the intention of the Blue Pacific Ocean of Peace Declaration. Let us move forward together to shape our peaceful, secure, and resilient Blue Pacific for generations to come. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Secretary General Wanga. We also respectfully recognize your distinguished career in national politics, serving as President of Nauru between 2013 and 2019, and anticipating the poly crisis that was coming to the Pacific. We recognize your leadership in the creation of the Boy Declaration on Regional Security, endorsed by leaders in your home country, Nauru, when you graciously hosted the Forum Leaders meeting in 2018. We also recognize that the Boy Declaration continues to be the Forum's flagship statement on security in the Blue Pacific. We thank you also for your words of wisdom in highlighting the importance of this security talanoa, grounded in trust and building security solutions. Vinaka Vakalevu, Secretary General. Thank you also to all of you for joining us for the Pacific Regional and National Security Conference as we embark on this voyage to 2050 to the ocean of peace. We conclude our session with a reflection on the symbol for this conference, which epitomizes what the free leaders have provided for us. 18 wakas or canoes, representing 18 members of the Pacific Islands Forum. The free waves, representing Melanesia, Polynesia, and Micronesia. And the peaceful ocean and the stars that bind us all together, as one blue Pacific continent. And this is our story. We've all journeyed here to the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat in Suva, to right here in the Drua Room, the heart of Pacific regionalism. We've come together, as our leaders have stated, as one region to tackle the significant security issues before us, because we know what is possible and how successful we are when we stand together, united. And as our leaders have stated, always remembering why we do what we do and why we must work together. Our people, our children, our future. Tua o whātu, vinaka whakalevu.